Now, let's go to the major interview of the morning. On Fridays, we give the opposition, the main opposition party, the United Progressive Party, an opportunity to vent on issues of the day. And today, the party is represented by Jonathan Wehner. Jonathan is a law student at the UWI Caveville campus, and he is the youngest member of the UPP Central Executive. Good morning, Jonathan. Welcome.
Good morning. Just a quick correction. I also study political science as well, too. So, yes. Mm-hmm. But
all right then. All right then. So law and political science.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but Dr. Jackie, I'm in a very good mood this morning.
Yes, I can see that. You were smiling when you came in.
Yeah, for fact, many different reasons, because I'm a very avid follower of the UK politics, and it's good to see that conservative shambolic government go. But to focus on local issues of today, it was very interesting from last night seeing that the Labour Party has finally, secured a candidate to replace Sir Robin, in the St. Philip's North, any election, whether it be by-election or a general election coming up. And we, as the United Progressive Party, are very happy about this because we've been ready. We've been waiting to take that constituency and put it on the column of the United Progressive Party. Because if the general public would recall, in the last general elections of 2023, the Senator Alex Brown, he came quite close, much closer than anybody would have come in.
What was his
memory.
margin?
It was 94 votes.
94 votes.
And that's much closer than ever before for a very long time. So we have full confidence.
He actually won in 2 boxes.
Yeah. So we have full confidence that Senator Alex Brown will bring the constituency on the United Progressive Party. And of course, as the current situation stands in Parliament, if we win the constituency, it's very likely the government would change. Because remember, the Labour Party is a 1-seat majority, so they have no margin for error. So I look forward to upcoming events in that constituency. That's my constituency. That's where I'm from. That's where I live.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But that would be a huge gamble that the Prime Minister would take to put out a by-election, hoping that they retain that particular seat.
Well, he's between a rock and a hard place. He's between a rock and a hard place right now, Dr. Jackie, in more ways than one, and we'll just wait and see. But we're ready. And before we move on from this, I just want to say a few things, because the United Progressive Party, we're not just ready, but we're having things in place. So this Sunday, from 3 p.m., we're going to have Mobilization Sunday. We're going out into the St. Philip's North constituency, starting out in Willikeys. We're going to start out at the Tropical Timeout Ice Cream Parlor. That's on the main street in Willikeys. We're going to start to canvass the constituency. Well, not start, but continue, I should say. Continue canvassing the constituency in a more hyped-up preparation, hyped-up manner to get the people on the ground mobilized, or supporters mobilized, and to convince those possible independents and even Labour Party supporters who might be on the fence as to what change would bring about, what change would mean. We're going to convince those people, capture their minds, and secure that constituency. And so the mobilization is this Sunday, 3 p.m. And also, the small business pull-up is coming back again.
Yes, that was a very, very great feature of the UPP's campaign in lead up to the 2023 election.
It was very well received the last time. We're pulling it back out again because we need to support our small businesses in this country, not just have taxes. And I remember the unincorporated business tax. That was any way that we can. We know it's very limited what we can do as opposition party, but we're doing what we can. So we're going to have a small business pull-up on Saturday.
And you did promise, the party did promise that the small business pull-ups would have continued
past the election.
After the election.
Yep.
So it's a good thing.
Yep. So Saturday the 13th of July, we're going to start out at the St. Stephen's Anglican Church. That's in Glanville. You can't miss it, right there on the main road, from 3 p.m. So those 2 events so far that we're announcing. We have more in the works, but this Sunday, Mobilization Sunday, Willikeys at the Ice Cream Parlor, 3 p.m. and Saturday the 13th of July, small business pull-up. So St. Philip's North, look out. We're coming.
Yes.
All right.
Now, you wanted to talk about some other national issues and the issue of crime. Escalating crime across Antigua and Barbuda. Has the party addressed its mind to how the nation should go forward tackling crime, perhaps devising a crime plan of some sort? We haven't heard anything at all in this regard.
Yeah, Dr. Jackie, that's a very good question. And the party believes that for any crime plan to happen, for an effective crime plan to take place or to be created, there must be serious consultation. there must be serious conversation with all stakeholders, whether it be the police officers, the defense force, whether it be civil servants, whether it be within those ministries, the relevant ministries, whether it be just citizens in the constituency of the seriously impacted areas where crime is of the highest frequency. We have to have that dialogue and consultation to get the opinions and the minds of all those people who are struggling through the situation and see what can be done. But I must note that up to today, our Minister for Public Safety has devised no crime plan whatsoever. Dr. Jack, as I listen to Observer AM time and time again, I hear you calling upon him to come to the country, to have some kind of assurance that there's something being done. There's just total silence from the Minister of Public Safety as regards to crime. And
actually my call is to the Commissioner of Police.
Commissioner of Police as well. But I mean, and it's actually not total silence, because I remember in Parliament, I think it was 3 sittings ago, the Honourable Stedroy Cutie Benjamin, who is the Minister of Public Safety, he would have said we have one of the safest countries, I don't know if you recall that, Dr. Jackie, in the region as it pertains to crime.
That's right.
And that is not acceptable, because we're looking at the amount of breaking into people's homes. People are having burglaries. Like, that is not acceptable. Businesses that are being robbed. Even down to the other day, Chopper is being held up at gunpoint in broad daylight.
That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep. So even people who are going missing, and then we find out that they're murders or things like that. The crime situation in Antigua and Barbuda is unacceptable. Even if you're trying to compare us to other countries, we're not comparing. We live here. We don't live anywhere else. Don't compare us to anybody and anywhere else. We want to feel safe. We want to feel secure in our nation. We have a right to safety in this country, and that is one of the main functions of government, to ensure its citizens are safe. And it is unfortunate for us to say that right now in Antigua and Barbuda, we do not feel as safe as we used to feel, and there needs to be action done by all the relevant authorities in government, whether it be the police, the Minister of Public Safety, and whoever else needs to get up and start to act to make these residents feel safe and secure in this society, and this cannot continue. So there needs to be an effective crime plan drafted and presented to the public, Honourable Stedroy Cutie Benjamin, and that plan cannot be held, created, done. Anything cannot be done with that plan without proper dialogue and consultation with all the relevant stakeholders, to include the residents who live throughout the various communities in Antigua and Barbuda.
And has the party come up with suggestions in terms of what they would like to see in that crime plan? If the minister, the commissioner were to put together a round table and to get all the views of opposition parties and civil society, has the United Progressive Party devised their input, their suggestions, their policy prescriptions for this crime plan?
Yep. So what I would do, I don't want to preempt our leader. So the leader of the opposition, he would come out in due time, and he will announce the party's position as it pertains to the action that the government should take as it, with the crime plan. So that will be coming shortly, so you can look out for that. But I just want to make us, resonate, let it resonate in the minds of the public that the current administration has been there for about 10 years now. Well, 10 years, because they just celebrated that anniversary. And the crime situation has only gotten worse and worse and worse in this country. And the silence cannot continue. There needs to be a solution. It is incumbent upon the government to come up with a solution. Yes, the opposition, we will propose our initiatives, but they must take on the ideas and the suggestions of the various members of the public. Thank you.
The government and the cabinet, they address their minds to the Alpha Nero, and they have come up with a plan for the Alpha Nero. What are your thoughts on this, this lingering Alpha Nero issue?
Well, first, Dr. Jack, I have to correct you there, because the public now is not calling it the Alpha Nero, it's the Alpha Nago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's the Alpha Nago. Because really and truly, this is a saga. This is a saga that's been ongoing for many, many months. Actually, it's about 2 years now. If you remember, if the public could cast their minds back to when the government first brought that bill before Parliament. And I want to set the scene. So the opposition MPs, it would have been 7 of them, because I don't believe Asset Michael was present at that sitting. I think he was ill. They would have walked in and found this bill before them on the table. Remember, the bill was not given to them beforehand. They walked into Parliament finding the bill. Having perused the bill and hearing some of the government MPs get up and talk about it, the opposition leader, the Honourable Jamal Pring, would have taken the stand. This bill is too serious for us to just sit here and talk about it for 10, 15 or hour, however it is, and just pass it like that. So he said the opposition needs more time. They need to be respected so they can go and do their research, consult with the various technical persons who are in that field to see what is the substantive issues within this bill. And the government did not provide the opposition with the respect that they're due and the time that they need to be effective parliamentarians and representatives of their people. So the leader of the opposition decided to walk out of parliament, and his colleagues supported him. And if you remember, Dr. Jackie, the public would have had some negative feedback from that. Why did the UPP walk out of parliament in that situation? And in hindsight, we can see that the opposition MPs were fully correct, because this alphaneria has brought nothing good for the people, for the coffers of Antigua and Barbuda. It's been spend, promise, and no delivery. Lionel Maxhurst comes out every other time talking about alphaneria with a new Nancy story, I have to call it. Because who told you to take up something that wasn't yours because you thought they were dollar signs? You did not do your proper research to find out what was going to happen. And even up to today, the alphanero is tied up in court. In terms of people, somebody who is related to the Russian billionaire allegedly is questioning the ownership of the yacht and if the government should have seized it in the first place. So your due diligence was not to the standard it should have been. Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister, and the government, I read in the Daily Observer, that figure is in the low end. It's saying that it's just over $100,000 they're spending per month on the alphanero. Now, from the people who are in the know, they're telling us that that figure is in the low end, and it's close to $11 million that we have spent over the last 2 years in terms of keeping the alphanero. Now, pause for a moment. Think about what that money, if it was greater or lower, but it's in the millions, what that money could have done for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. The nurses who could have gotten their packages, the late workers that could have gone to them, the roads in Antigua that are so in such disrepair that could have fixed, the different issues across the island. We're not prioritizing what we need to prioritize. Well, the government is not doing it. And they need to realize that this alphanero saga has been a mistake, and it's all of their doing. Their hands were not forced. They decided to do it.
Wow. That's the law and politics student there. I tell you, Jonathan, I'm inspired by you. We're going to take the break. If you joined us late, we are speaking with Jonathan Wehner, a law and political science student at UWI Cave Hill campus, and he is the youngest member of the UPP Central Executive. Now, Jonathan, before we took the break, you were talking about the alphanero, and you wanted to complete your thought on the hurricane plan for the alphanero.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Jackie. So the alphanago, that alphanago there.
Lord, you're correcting me.
Yes. So that hurricane, quote unquote, plan that Ambassador Lionel Maxhurst came out with in the post-cabinet press briefing. So I want to quote from page 8 of the Daily Observer, because in today's Daily Observer, that is. So Lionel Maxhurst says, speaking about the ability for Antigua to have a dry docking situation, I don't think the capability for doing so exists in Antigua. And he said, we will listen closely and watch closely the development of the hurricanes in the Caribbean to see if there is a need for us to sail it to a different harbor that is more secure. That sound like a plan to you, Dr. Jackie? If a hurricane comes, it's going to make the boat run away. That is a plan. If the government knew that they want... No, the government knew. They knew what they were going to do. The government knew 2 years ago, Dr. Jackie, that they wanted to take that boat and sell it for money. Because that's the point of this. They wanted to take somebody's boat and sell it for money. They should have thought about the different complications and circumstances that will result from that action. Now, one of them is we might not sell the boat in time to get rid of it during the hurricane season. Now, 2 years have come and gone, and the boat is still here. It's still here. Hurricanes coming and going, and we see that this hurricane season is looking to be one of the most active ones.
Very active.
God forbid, we hope and pray. But the alphanero, the alphanago saga is just a lack of initiative, a lack of proper planning and due diligence. And this quote-unquote plan of if a hurricane comes, we run away with the boat, that is foolishness. The government should have not taken it in the first place. And because specifically, Maxhurst, by your own admission, that Antigua and Barbuda does not have the capability to dry dock a vessel of that size. You should not have taken it in the first place, because who told you that you'd have sold it in time to get rid of it during the hurricane season? And on top of that, Dr. Jackie, I'm seeing here that Maxhurst also said that, let me read exactly what he said. Hurst also touched on the yacht's pending sale, stating that their government is close to selling the Alfa Nero. That is in quotations, close to selling the Alfa Nero. Hasn't he been saying that for 2 years now? Actually, didn't we have a televised auction of the Alfa Nero where the boat is quote unquote sold and then the person backed out? So is this going to be another situation where somebody backs out again? Gaston Brown, the Honorable Gaston Brown, you should not have touched the people's things. Leave the people's things alone and just concentrate on what you're supposed to be doing. The people of Antigua and Barbuda, you're wasting taxpayers' money on things that we do not need to spend the money on. So that is my point about Alfa Nero, and I think it's a total waste of time, a total waste of money. And until the government admits that and realize that, we're just going to be in the same circle over and over again with this Alfa Nago.
No, I want to address Jonathan. I'm just tickled by your characterization of the hurricane plan. All of these brilliant men and women sitting around the desk and deciding, oh, we're going to send it to another safe harbor. That's the plan. That's the plan. Okay, let's address the primary in St. Philip's North.
Yes.
Is the United Progressive Party readying itself for a possible by-election or a snap general election? If the party, the Prime Minister of this country, decides to call a snap general election or a by-election anytime soon, is the party seized of that possibility? And are you preparing?
Very good question. That's a very important question. Any opposition that is not, an opposition always needs to be in a state of preparedness for an election at any time. Because as we would have learned, we must admit when you make mistakes. In 2018, the party was not fully prepared for that general election. You live and you learn. The United Progressive Party, as it stands today, can contest any election that goes over there in St. Philip's North. Whoever the candidate is. We're not concerned about the results of that primary that came out last night. Whoever the candidate is, we have full faith and confidence in brother the Senator Alex Brown that he will take the seat. And as I said before earlier in the show, you've seen some of the activities that we have. Of course, we have other things planned, but as they come closer, we'll announce them. And you don't want the people to coop us too much because they have to love coop ideas. But anyway, going back to St. Philip's North, I'm not also a member of that constituency, but I'm a member of the branch as well. And I can tell you the branch is doing everything it needs to do in preparation for the pending by-election. Now, this ties in beautifully to another issue that is in the national discourse.
Just a second before you move on from that. That's preparation for by-election. But should the Prime Minister, and we talked about the precarious position that the Prime Minister is in if he were to call a by-election on one seat only.
Yes.
What happens if the Prime Minister decides to strategize and to call a general election? Is the party prepared? You have primaries pending in St. John's City East. You have primaries pending in St. Paul's. This is what I think people are concerned about, that preparation for St. Philip's North. You already have a standard bearer in Senator Alex Brown. But what about the other preparation in case there is a general election? That's the issue, sir.
Dr. Jackie, I can assure the public that the party is ready and waiting for a general election. Yes, we have primaries because that is only natural. You have to replace the candidate, but those will be done in due course and in quick time too. But don't just look at the United Progressive Party. One, the Labour Party has not had a convention in years. Two, the Labour Party has to replace about, 10 of their candidates, because even though some of those who won their seats will not be running again. So the Labour Party itself has to go through a serious process of replacing and revamping that ticket. And we're not watching them, but we're focusing on us.
I hope not.
We're focusing on us. We are ready, as I said, and we are confident that come the next election, we just won a by-election in St. Mary's South. We came very close, within 6 votes. Some would say that we won in the general election. We are ready. We are primed. We are itching to take the government. So Gaston Brown, I dare you, ring the bell. Ring the bell for any election, whether it be by or general. But to re-emphasize the point of the branch being ready, we're preparing our scrutineers. We're preparing our people who go out to canvass. We're already in the constituency doing the work. The Senator Alex Brown is already going through the constituency. So be assured, public, United Progressive Party will put its best foot forward in St. Philip's North. And as I spoke about scrutineers, I want to go back to the replacement of cards issue, because in Antigua and Barbuda, we tend to have a 9-day talk. But I want us to realize that this is a very important issue and it affects us. So as it regards to the replacement of cards, replacement that ABEC would have announced, United Progressive Party is still going forward, writing with ABEC, getting that legal action done. And I want the public to realize that, yes, you have to build a case. So you can't just go to the court, snap, and say, we want this, that, or the other. But you have to build a case first and have proper reasoning when you go before a judge to ask for whatever you want to be have, whether it be an injunction or whatever it may be. So the judge can say, this is sensible, this is logical for us to grant you an injunction or grant you this or grant you that, whatever it may be. But I want to raise an issue that...
very quickly?
Yeah, very
half
quickly.
A minute?
Oh, half a minute. Mm-hmm. Yes, that ABEC had. ABEC in their press outings and on their flyer, they said on one of their documentations, they said proof of address may be required. Mm-hmm. Now, it cannot be fair. You cannot have a free and fair election where you're giving people new cards and their address is not 100% required for them. Like, you have to give proof of address to verify that you live in the area. And that's one of the main things coming out of the last general election, with the Prime Minister Gaston Brown's admission of transferring people that he should not have into different areas. So we have to have that for the St. Philip's North constituency specifically, and that must be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very kindly, Jonathan Wehner. It is always a pleasure having you. You are a breath of fresh air. Young, dynamic, articulate, and very passionate. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.